See what happens when you're in the studio by yourself. Check one, check two. Awesome. All right, so I see that I do have sound now. Thank you. See what happens when you're here at what, at 5:18 p.m. and you're here by yourself. You're talking for what, 4 minutes, and nobody heard you. So with that being said, um, put in the chat, put hashtag, put Rainmaker effect, put Rainmaker effect, put Rainmaker, Rainmaker effect. Put Rainmaker effect in the chat, and we'll get started. We'll start over. Now we're not going to take more time than what we've previously planned. We're not going to do that, but we are going to start over talking about the Rainmaker effect. And so the Rainmaker effect, simply put, is when more than 80% of the income that is generated by your business, it comes from your direct sales activities, your direct closing activities, your direct outreach, your direct conversation and communication. That is the Rainmaker effect. When in reality, what you want is for less than 20% of your revenue to come from your direct sales activities, closing activities, etc. So, because you guys missed some of the stuff that I said earlier, because my mic was muted, drop your city and drop your state in the chat. And if you are streaming with us on Facebook or YouTube, let us know what your profession is, what your business is, etc. Drop that in the chat as well. If you're on LinkedIn, of course, it pops up automatically, and we're able to see that from your profile. But the Rainmaker effect is when, again, at least 80% of your income that you're earning from business comes from your direct activities, sales, your direct phone calls, your direct emails, your direct text messages, etc. That's the Rainmaker effect. When in reality, less than 20% of the revenue that your business earns should come from your direct activities. Now, this is true when you own a business. This is not true when you are self-employed, when you are a self-employed entrepreneur, because again, as a self-employed entrepreneur, you are the business. For example, if you are a realtor, if you are an attorney, if you are a CPA, if you are a bookkeeper, does that make sense? If you're one of a professional that typically has a certification or a license, an insurance agent, etc., then what? You write business and you get compensated, right? But you really want to get out of that role not as fast as possible, but you don't want to delay that. Meaning you want to get to a place where you're able to what? Lead a team, where you want to be able to manage a team, where you want to be able to grow a team, because then your income isn't purely based upon what you're able to sell, what you're able to write, what you're able to produce, the number of clients you're able to see. Because there are only 24 hours in a day, and you can't work all 24 hours. You may be active somewhere between 10 and 12 of those hours, but you're only productive about 4 to 6 of those hours. Let me say that again. You're only productive about 4 to 6 hours a day. You may be active about 12 hours a day. Does that make sense? So those 4 to 6 hours, you want to make sure those 4 to 6 hours have the highest ROI possible. Because if you only got 4 to 6 hours to build an amazing business, then you want to make sure you're doing the right activities in those 4 to 6 hours. So let's go back. The Rainmaker effect. Put it in the chat. Rainmaker. Rainmaker. This is basically you as an entrepreneur. You are the sales champion of your organization. You are the revenue guru of your organization. You're able to close business, write business. You're able to secure business. Your personality, your charisma, your ability to tell the story, your ability to persuade, to influence, to galvanize, etc. And as a result, more than 80% of the revenue that comes into your firm is coming from your activities. Now, the problem with the Rainmaker effect is that, number one, you cannot scale, SCALE, you cannot scale a business when 80% of the revenue comes from your activities. You can't scale that because guess what? Again, you only have 24 hours in a day. You're only one person. There's only so much you can do, which means how do you scale it? So, for example, let's say you are using 7 hours a day. Let's say your typical day is 10 hours. Let's say from 8 to 6, right? From 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. your typical day, right? And let's say of those 10 hours, let's say you spend 4 to 5 hours of those 10 hours in sales, in on the phone, email, text, LinkedIn, and you're actively engaging with clients and prospects and so forth, right? Let's say for instance that is the case. Now, when you think about it, those activities giving you a pipeline of business, pipeline of opportunities. And let's say, for instance, out of those 4 to 6 hours, you're able to make connection with 10 to 12 leads per day. And let's say you're closing 2 of those leads per day. So out of a course of a week, that's what? That's maybe 10 leads, 10 sales, depending on what you're selling, right? Now, here's the thing. How do you scale that? How many more hours can you carve out of your day to do that? Because if you're already spending 4 to 6, what you're going to now go do and what? Spend 6 to 8, 7 to 10? And if you are going to try to do that, then what's going to be the physical toll, the mental toll? How long can you sustain that? So what am I trying to say to you? I'm trying to say that I'm not necessarily saying get out of the Rainmaker effect as soon as possible. I'm not necessarily saying that. But what I am specifically saying is I want you to grasp that you cannot scale a business, or it's going to be extremely hard to scale a business when you are the one who is responsible for the lion's share of the revenue. You're the guru, you're the champion, you're the salesperson, you're the one that closes the deal. So the question then becomes, let me, as a matter of fact, before I get to the question, the first one I gave you was you cannot scale a business, SCALE. You cannot grow it exponentially. You cannot grow a business exponentially when the Rainmaker effect is in place. Number two, you cannot sell SELL a business when you're operating in the Rainmaker effect. So let's say, for instance, your company is doing $5 million a year. Let's say it's doing $5 million a year, and you're doing $5 million in gross revenue. And let's say, for instance, your net profit. Let's say, for instance, your net profit is 1.5. So you're grossing 5, your net is 1.5. So wow, man, you got a great business, man. You're netting 1.5, you're grossing 5. And then someone says, "Hey, listen, I like your business, man. Listen, I want to buy this business. I want to buy this business, right? Well, are you open to sell this business? I want to buy this business. Let's say, for instance, let's just say $12 million. I want to buy your business for $12 million, right? So you got a net profit of 1.5. They want to buy it for 12, right? You're like, yeah, listen, let's sell it, and I'm just creating a scenario here, right? So, don't go in me in the comments saying it should be more or less or whatever. This is for illustration purposes only. Got it? So you get ready to get started, and you get your attorney involved. Their attorney is involved. You hire someone like Benjamin Strategy to come in and do some internal due diligence. And guess what one of our consultants are going to say? They're going to say, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, this initial offer is going to be retracted. And you say, well, hold on. Why is the offer going to be retracted? They said they're willing to buy it for 12. No, that was an initial soft commitment, but it's contingent upon the due diligence process to validate the revenue, the income, and so forth. Okay, well, yeah, no, I did I did 5 million, and I've been doing 5 million for the past couple of years, and yes, I'm netting 1.5. Well, in our internal due diligence process, we see that you are responsible for 90% of the sales that comes into this firm. So how can you sell this business to them? Because the moment they buy it, they're going to lose all of that revenue, because the revenue that was coming in because of you. So what's going to happen is they're going to reduce that sales offer by half. And they're going to say, you're going to stay on with the company for the next 3 years. And then they're going to systematize, operationalize all the things that you've been doing, if the deal even sticks. And then they're going to say, okay, now if we meet these metrics over the next 3 years, then we will then adjust our original offer, or adjust to our original offer. But we've got to systematize, operationalize, and we've got to see the clear metrics where we're able to generate the revenue that you've been generating through a system, and not through your personality, charisma, direct contacts, etc. Does that make sense? Now, that's again a very loose example. There's some loose ends that I need to tie in there. But think about that for a second. 1.5, they're going to give you 12, right? A little over 10 multiple, right? But after they find out that 90% of the revenue that comes in is through you, they're going to say, no, we're going to change this offer, and you're going to work with us for the next, 3 years. You're going to be an employee of the company that we're going to buy. And then we're going to deal with settlement after the end of this 3-year period. Or they may just pull the deal off the table altogether. So the point I'm trying to say is people say, well, Marcus, I'm not trying to sell my business. Well, here's the reality. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to sell it or not. I've been saying this for a decade and I'm going to keep on saying it. It's becoming novel and popular now because of social media and things like that. But I've been saying this for well over a decade. You always build your business to sell it, even if you never intend to. Because if you build a business to sell it, you will build a better business. Let me say it again. If you build your business to sell it, then you are going to build a better business. If you build a business to own it and to control it, then you're not going to build the best business possible. The best business that you can build is the business that you build with the objective of I want to be able to sell this even if I never choose to. So someone could come in with a wild offer. And guess what? You can capitalize on that offer because you always built it to sell it. And people and see this is where we have to really get the rubber meets the road, because for so many people your business is so much a part of your heart. You're so passionate about what you do, and you're just so emotionally result. You're just dialed into the bit. Well, all of that's good. All of that is good. But when you think that way, you're less likely to bring on partners who can help you scale. You're less likely to bring in people who are smarter than you who can help you scale. You're less likely to build a business that can be scaled, because why? It's so much a part of you. It's so ingrained with you. Like, this is my business. This is my baby. This is my thing. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. I said this the first day we started this 7 days ago. Your business exists for your customers. Somebody put that in the chat. Your business doesn't exist for your satisfaction. It doesn't exist for your happiness. Your business exists for your customers. If you are in business for yourself, and I'm being technical for a moment, then you're not really in business. Because when you are in business to be obsessively consumed by the interests and problems of your customer so that you can in turn build a company that radically and innovatively solve their problems, and they're willing to give you money in order to do it. You are obsessive about your customer. Does that make sense? If you are in business, well, let me say it a different way. Business is the organized system of exchanging value. It is a separate legal entity that exists for the purpose of legally owning products and services, and those products and services solves a problem for a definite audience. So there's a B2C, there's a B2B, so on and so forth, right? A client, customer, whomever. But at the end of the day, what you do as an entrepreneur, what you do as a small business owner, whether it's a bakery, whether it's an accounting firm, whether it's a law firm, whether it's a consulting firm, whether it's a retail store, no matter what business you are in the business to obsess over your customers, which means you are building the best business possible for your customer. Let me say it again. You are building the best business possible, not for you, but for your customer. And if you build the best business possible for your customer, then guess what? You're going to have an amazing life. You're going to have an amazing income. You're going to have an amazing company. But if you build a business for your own satisfaction, if you build a business for your own happiness and your own purpose, guess what? Then you're gonna always own a small business. And let me rephrase that. You're gonna always own a micro business. As a matter of fact, not even a micro business. You're probably gonna always own a solo entrepreneurship, because everybody wants to do business with you. They want to talk to you. Everybody wants to talk to you. They want to come in the store and see you. And again, there's some people who love that. I mean, they love that. Every day they live for that. And if that's the thing, then they have to realize that it's going to be hard for you to do all the other things you need to do when everybody wants to do business with you, not your company, not your system, but they want to do business with you. Instead of operationalize and systematizing the value that you bring to the table so that it can be converted into systems and processes, so you can then, rather than only reaching 20 people or what, you can reach 200, you can reach 2,000, you can reach 200,000, you can reach 2 million, because you're able to take what you do well, operationalize it, systematize it, and you're able to then compound that value to more customers. So as my time is winding down, it's important again to grasp the reality that you cannot scale a business where the Rainmaker effect is in place. You cannot sell a business where the Rainmaker effect is in place. You cannot scale it. You can't have compounded growth, and you cannot sell it or build it to sell it, even if you never sell it, when 80% or more of the revenue is directly responsible to you. You want that number to be what? 20% or below. Where 80% of the revenue that comes into your firm, into your organization, into your company, it comes through other sources, through a sales system, through a marketing system, through automation systems, through people and personnel who are able to be on the phone and make calls, through your website for e-commerce, whatever it is. I hope I'm helping some people today, because I struggled with this because I was a fantastic technician as a banker, as an insurance agent, then as an investment advisor. I was a fantastic technician. I mean, I knew how to make connections, make relationships. I knew how to convey trust. I had solid character. I endeavored to keep my word. So I was able to build a reputation that allowed me to be successful. But when I became a CEO, when I opened a firm, and it's my own firm, I would carry that same perspective over. And so I was still what? Doing all the work, making all the sales calls, sending out the emails, sending the text messages out. And I was still growing in business. And we got past six figures, I mean, a decade or so ago, but we got there and I was just selling, 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 selling. But again, 90% of the revenue that was coming into the company was coming in because of me. So I could not lead my company and grow my company because I was the chief everything officer instead of the chief executive officer. Does that make sense? So again, you don't want to try to speedily, and hastily get out of the Rainmaker effect, but you do want to be intentional about saying, okay, within the next 6 months, I need this number to be down by what? Down from 80% or 90% or 100%. I need that number to be coming down 20%, every 3 to 6 months. Every 3 to 6 months, I need that number to be coming down 20%, so that over the next year to a year and a half, that number is down from 80% or above to around 20 to 30%. And then you then set that target at 20%, and then you keep driving it down, 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 down. And ultimately, you would want that to be less than what? I mean, ideally, man, if it's less than 5%, I mean, that would be fantastic. That's not where we are right now. We're somewhere around 35 to 40%. For our big ticket items, for our larger consulting relationships, that have six-figure contracts attached to them. Well, actually, it's higher than that. It's probably about 70% for those that have six figures attached to them, or more than six figures attached to them. I mean, those are my transactions. But for anything, 20,000, 15,000, 25,000, 30,000, etc., then that can be closed by, and it is closed by other people. So my point is, you want to be driving that number down so that your business is scalable and what? Sellable. Come on, put that in the chat right there. Put in the chat, scalable and sellable. The Rainmaker effect is the Rainmaker effect. How do I want to say it? The Rainmaker effect is kryptonite to scaling and selling a business. You got it? Listen, if we've shared something that was a help to you, come on, just drop it in the chat and let us know. Again, we do apologize for the first few minutes or so where I was mute. Yeah, again, I'm here in the studio. It's 5:37. I think I got started right around 5:15 or so, something like that. And they sent me a message and said, "Hey, you're muted." Right. but again, look at the information at the bottom of the screen. You may see it even in the caption. If you're anywhere near the Charlotte Rock Hill area, if you're within 2.5 hours of driving distance, and you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, and you want more insight like this from myself and others, of course, culminating with the keynote from Damon John from ABC Shark Tank, then click the link below, visit the link, or share it with family and friends who are in business, because it's going to be fantastic on the campus of Winthrop University, May 31st. We're right at 2 weeks away. We're a little over 2 weeks away, but we're right there. We're coming down to the wire, and it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for a solid group of entrepreneurs in our region. All right. So listen, have a great, great, great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow as we continue the conversation on Let's Talk Small Business.